Christianity is the world's largest religion. Pew Research Center, a research group that does not take political sides, estimates that, in 2020, about 2.3 billion people, or 28.8% of the world's population, identified as Christian. No single emperor or event created this global community. Christianity began as a Jewish movement centered on Jesus of Nazareth. His first followers were Jewish. After his crucifixion, they said he was the Messiah, the promised Savior, and had risen from the dead. Early Christian leaders debated whether Gentile converts had to be circumcised and follow the law of Moses. Paul and other missionaries helped form communities of both Jews and non-Jews across the Greek-speaking Roman world. The Roman Empire included many cultures, languages, gods, and religious traditions. Rome often allowed local worship, but public sacrifices could show loyalty and a desire to protect the community. Many Christians refused to sacrifice to traditional gods or take part in ceremonies honoring the emperor because they worshipped one god. They were not always punished, but at some times and places, officials saw their refusal as disrespect for the gods or disloyalty to Rome. In 303, Diocletian, the senior Roman emperor based in the East, and the other emperors who ruled with him, began the Great Persecution, the most organized campaign against Christians across the empire. Churches were destroyed, Christian texts burned, church leaders imprisoned, and Christians later ordered to make public sacrifices. Enforcement varied by region. In parts of the West, it had already faded or stopped by 306. Elsewhere, the persecution ended between 311 and 313. The campaign failed to destroy Christian communities. Constantine was a Roman army officer and the son of Constantius Chlorus, the senior emperor in the West. After his father died, Constantine's troops proclaimed him emperor. He continued his father's more tolerant policy in Britain and Gaul. A major political turning point came in 312, when Constantine defeated Maxentius, a rival Roman emperor who controlled Rome and much of Italy, at the Milvian Bridge. Lactantius, a Christian writer who wrote a few years later, says Constantine had a dream telling him to place a sign from heaven on his soldiers' shields. Eusebius, a Christian bishop writing decades later, gives a fuller account. Constantine saw a radiant trophy in the form of a cross above the sun, accompanied by the Greek words teutonika, by this conquer. That night, Eusebius says, Christ appeared to him in a dream and told him to reproduce the sign for use against his enemies. Historians cannot prove that a miracle happened. What is clear is that, after the victory, Constantine increasingly called the Christian God his protector and showed his support for Christianity more openly. In 313, Constantine and Licinius, another Roman emperor then ruling parts of the Balkans, agreed at Milan to allow broad freedom of worship. An official letter ordered the return of Christian property that had been taken. This did not make Christianity the empire's official religion. Constantine soon went further. He funded large churches, gave special rights to church leaders, and gave bishops direct access to the imperial government. Imperial support also drew Constantine into church disputes. In 325, after becoming the sole ruler, he called bishops to Nicaea to debate how the Son was related to God the Father and to discuss other issues. Constantine wanted unity. He opened the council and pushed the bishops to agree, but he did not invent Christian teaching or decide it alone. After debating the issue, the council adopted the original Creed of Nicaea. The longer version, widely used today, developed later and is generally associated with the Council of Constantinople in 381. Constantine died in 337, but the link between church and empire that he had changed kept growing. In 380, Theodosius I and his co-emperors declared Nicene Christianity the form of Christianity required by imperial law. Over the following centuries, Christianity became closely tied to European kingdoms and institutions. It spread through monks, merchants, migrants, diplomacy, preaching, missionaries, and at times, conquest. From the 15th century, European empires carried Western Christianity across the Atlantic and expanded missions in parts of Africa and Asia. But Christian communities had existed for centuries in Egypt, Ethiopia, the Middle East, India, and other parts of Asia. Colonial rule often helped missions, but it also brought force, violence, and the destruction of local cultures. Local people accepted Christianity, adapted it to their own cultures, or resisted it. So what did Constantine change, and why did he support Christianity? He is often seen as the first Roman emperor to become Christian, although his commitment grew over time, and he was baptized shortly before his death. His actions suggest that religious belief mattered to him, but religious unity could also help him rule the empire. Faith and politics could work together. His greatest impact was practical. He expanded legal protection and added government funding, special rights for church leaders, large churches, and direct access to government. Together, these gave Christian communities resources on a scale they had not had before. By 300, Christianity was widespread and organized, so it probably would have survived without Constantine. If he had died at the Milvian Bridge, support from an emperor might have come later or differently. His reign was not the first domino in a fixed chain. It was a major turning point, strengthened by later rulers and communities. He did not create Christianity. He helped it become a favored institution, backed by the empire much sooner.